Alright, the current time is 1:36 p.m. I have just finished cleaning out this room in my house, which is different from my training room. I'm sorry if there's an echo. Don't worry, there's a lot more furniture in here. But yeah, this is where I'm going to be building the layout. This is where all my Legos are as well. But we're hopefully going to be building this here, the map of the island of Sodor. I don't think this is any specific version of the map. It's got like a bunch of random stuff thrown on top. But this is basically what I'm going to be building, hopefully. But yeah, so I'm going to get to work. It's 1:37 now. I basically just laid out some areas where I want stuff to go. But yeah. It's going to be a long day. Alright, quick update. I've gotten more stuff laid out on the floor here. I'm so tired. It's like 2 o'clock now. Oh man. We're starting to realize just how painful this is gonna be. This is Marin, by the way. This doesn't need to. It shouldn't be here. It should be like over there. But yeah. Alright, I'll make another update here soon once I get more stuff laid down. Alright, I've got more stuff laid down. For where I'm hopefully gonna put all of it. I have been doing this for so long. It's taken me like an hour just to get to this point. I'm definitely not finishing this today, but we're gonna try. Yeah, we've got Wellsworth and Sudbury, Brenham, Clay Pits, Knapford, Tidmouth, here, Ducks Branch Line, pretty well. Thomas's branch line stuff is not okay. All that. The Peel Goddard branch is going okay. And Narragate stuff is going to be over here. And Vicarstown over there. So that's Cropman's Gate. I'm gonna have some stuff back there for Colin. Oh my god, this is taking forever. I'm so tired. Alright, I finally started building it. Just been working on the Sodor area. Oh man, it's 3:38 now, so I've been in here for 2 hours. On top of that, like another hour and a half worth of cleaning and moving furniture. Yeah, I've spent so long on this. I'm so tired. Oh man. But it's coming along nicely. I've gotten that area sort of worked out. So, yeah. Hey, another update. I've gotten the Sudbury to Brenham to Clay Pits done. Right now I'm kind of working on, connecting Wellsworth up to Crosby. And I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit of my process since I'm doing a lot right now. I originally had Wellsworth kind of at this angle here, and I was gonna basically run right into that, and there was gonna be no room for Crosby, and then Knapford's got to go right there. So I just had to change it up a little bit and do some different things with Wellsworth here, like putting, turning it another 45-degree angle, and then I had to edit this part down here because if you get rid of this, then suddenly that's too far over and it runs into stuff over there and all sorts of stuff like that. So it's just a very time-consuming process doing this. The stuff just takes time. Don't expect to be able to get it on your first attempt or anything. It just takes time. And, that's okay. Just take a break and come back to it. Eventually you'll land on something that you like. I know this is taking me a long time. My original plan for this area, I don't know how well you can see that. It's always good to have a plan. Even if you don't end up going with it, you can know where that plan maybe went wrong, or you can edit it as you see fit, and you just get better at it over time. So yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to work. I'll see you when the layout is done, I guess. Alright, so I actually lied. I'm gonna do at least one more update video. I really can't say right now. But I've gotten, this hasn't changed at all, but I've extended it up from Crosby, which is that area right there. And we've got Knapford added in. There's James for the circus train. There's the bus depot, which is actually just the service station. And then it goes, this is Thomas's branch line, that line right there. It goes over the level crossing, goes through Drya, goes up to Hilltop Station, which I'm using as, I think, Tory Rack. Goes down into Ellsbridge, and then if you want to do a full loop, the branch line, you have to go through, you have to take a left at that switch, go up through the Ellsbridge Mill, past all the farms, and then you go on the loop line for a little bit, you come to the other platform at Ellsbridge, and then you just come back and you go through Maythwaite, and I'm using that as, I think, the Hackenbeck Tunnel. And then on the other side, it's Mrs. Kindness Cottage. And then, the conductor and Farquhar. So, pretty much done with Thomas's branch line. Still need to work on Timoth and Duck's branch line and the Arlesdale Railway, which is going to go probably behind there, and I'll end up over there or something. So yeah, that's coming along pretty well. Oh, and for a time update, it is currently 7:35, and I've been building all day nonstop. I'm very tired, so I'm gonna stop for tonight. But I plan on finishing this tomorrow, so. Looking good, looking good. Alright, another progress update. We've got more stuff done on Thomas's branch line. Thomas's branch line is actually done now. I just got to do the loop line to connect it up to those two tracks over there. We got Duck's branch line all done with Arlesdale. Arlesdale goes, it's that track there. Goes up and over and goes through that. Got that little loop there. It's probably just gonna end like right there, honestly, because I don't have room for it to go further since we're gonna put the smelter's yard right there, and the Peel Goddard branch is gonna go through here, sort of weave through the Scarloey. Sorry. Got Vickerstown set up. Just gotta finish connecting that to Henry's Tunnel. That's gonna go right down into Crowland's Gate. I'm probably gonna put the viaduct up against that wall. Yeah, it is currently 2. I've been building since 11. So, yeah, we're doing pretty good. All right, it is now 3 p.m. the next day. I built till like 10 o'clock last night or so. So, yeah, I'm ready for this to be done. Hello everybody, my name is Chicken and welcome to my final video of 2023. This is a video of my Thomas Wooden Railway layout. So yeah, as I said earlier, this layout is based on the map of the island of Sodor. So we'll be sure to point out stuff and you know, you'll get to see how I did it. This is not a new concept for me. I've done one before. It wasn't very good. It was only 8 by 10 feet. This layout, I believe, is 14 by 13 feet. So yeah, quite a bit bigger. It's like an extra, like, I don't know, 50 square feet of space. So yeah, just a quick overview here first, and then we'll start the tour. So we'll start here at Knapford. There is James pulling the circus train and Thomas and Percy pulling the mail. That is just a regular deluxe Knapford station. I didn't do anything fancy with it because I didn't have room. I was originally planning to make it a 6-lane Knapford, but I just, again, didn't have room. So we'll cover the main line first. So the main line is on these 2 tracks here. They go through the signal tower. They go up onto the old Iron Bay Bridge, which overlooks Crosby. And then it comes around the bend into Wellsworth. There's Wellsworth, the Wellsworth Water Tower, and Edward pulling some very old customs that I made. There's Bertie and Trevor at the Wellsworth crossing. So this is the Wellsworth yard. You know, I think everybody, like, from Thomas and Gordon, the very first episode, you know, whenever Gordon brings Thomas to Wellsworth, Thomas goes on that turntable and goes back home and all that stuff. So yeah. So continue along the main line, go up over Gordon's Hill, down to the Marion signal box, and then here we take a right and go into a new location, which is Marion Station. I did have Marion on my last map, but it was the Tomey building, so, but now I actually have the Wooden Railway one, which is kind of cool. There's Gordon pulling his special coaches, custom made, and there is some tar tankers. And then you come to this like crossing here. You take a left, go underneath the Marion Bridge, which actually surprisingly works out like perfectly. Like they knew what they were doing when they were making the signs and stuff, because like, yes, Knapford is indeed that way, and Steamworks would be to the right of Marin, but I don't have the Steamworks on this layout. Around the other side, it's like Crosby and Sodor Search and Rescue Center. So, yeah. And then going underneath the bridge brings you into Crovan's Gate. I'm using the Interactive Railway series Knapford building for Crovan's Gate. I originally wanted to make like a custom Crovan's Gate building using the 2022 Knapford, but I just don't have room for it, which, you know, is disappointing, but whatever. So the main line goes through the station, goes around the back there where Thomas is pulling the jet engine, or being propelled by the jet engine. I don't know why I put him there. Just thought it looked like he fit there. And then that brings you into Henry's Tunnel. Go around to the other side. There's Lady in a Siding, and then that brings you into Vickerstown, like the Vickerstown yards. So there's some scrap engines and a building, coal hopper, oil derrick. Yeah, there's a turntable. There's Vinny and Neil in the hand car. At Vickerstown, sheds. And then this line back here is how you actually get into the station. So it just splits off and then, you know, goes into the 3 lines that go up. There's Flying Scotsman, Big City Engine, and Mallard. And then that goes across Henry's Tunnel. We'll come back to that though. The line that Gordon is on, where he's pulling his Korean Express coaches, it actually goes onto the Vickerstown Rolling Bridge and then just dead ends behind the mountain, because that is the mainland back there. Like, you know, that's not part of this layout. And no, I'm not counting, what was it, Barrow? Yeah. I did not build Barrow, even though it's part of the main line. It's not on Sodor, therefore I'm not worried about it. So the line that Gordon is on comes back down into Crovan's Gate, like the Crovan's Gate sheds, which again is just the regular deluxe tin sheds. But there's Pug and Ginty, and then go across the turntable. There's Henry with some express coaches at the Crovan's Gate, like transfer yard or whatever. So that's the main line. It's not the most complicated thing. But next, let's do Thomas's branch line. So yeah, and we'll do the Bitter Road next. So Thomas's branch line starts back here at Knapford. And it goes, you take a left there. There's the bus depot with this guy who fell down. There's Birdie, and the bus that is not Birdie but looks like Birdie goes across level crossing into Dryaw, the airfield station. We have my new 1992 Herald, who's a little bit yellow, but that's okay. The track goes up onto the Hilltop station, which I am using as Tory Rec. And then it comes down into Ellsbridge. So there is Thomas Ann and Clarabelle and Custom Blue Henry with some express coaches. There's a yellow water tower. There's some people on the things, the custom staircases. And then, so So that the little bit of a yard comes out. So if you want to do the full branch line, first you take a left and another left. Go up into the Ellsbridge Mill, which is just the water wheel. And then that brings you down into the farm area. Brings you down in the farm area. There is my new Terrence, which actually has treads. Kind of crazy, I know. And then yeah, just brings you into the farm area. There's Stepney pulling some trucks and a brake van, and there's Caroline chasing after him. There's a switch back there. There's Nicole's chicken coop, grain loader, chicken farm, and dairy. So then it goes underneath Tory Wreck back into Ellsbridge. If you take Henry's line, it'll bring you back to where we were. And then, if instead of taking a left there, you take you go straight, brings you into Maythwaite, and then that switch there is for Daisy's shed, where Daisy is. I don't remember if it's at Maythwaite. I don't think it is. I think it's like at Hackenbeck or something, right? I don't know. But anyway, you go through the Hackenbeck Tunnel. There's Butch. And then on the other side of Hackenbeck Tunnel is Mrs. Kindly's cottage and the windmill. And then you round the bend, and then you come into Farquhar. And there's Thomas, who looks very scared. Stop Hat and an inspector are there inspecting him. I think he might have some fish in his boiler. Then it goes across the level crossing. There is... Sorry, I gotta step back. Camera was like in my stomach. Oh, sorry. Go across the level crossing, and then there are a couple switches for Farquhar sheds. Why is Percy not out? There's Percy. So yeah, there's Farquhar sheds. In the TV series, Farquhar sheds was actually at Timoth. It was really weird, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, that's the line where Thomas crashed into the station master's house. And then beyond that, I think you start traveling down the lane, which is where Mavis got stuck, and it's also where the grumpy policeman is, who I am referencing with the conductor's shed. And then there's Toby with Henrietta, and then you get brought into Farquhar. So there's the Farquhar barrel loader, lorry 1, Mavis with some slate trucks, crane, and Coal Dust Percy in the mine. Kind of like Put Upon Percy, where, you know, the mine collapses. So yeah, that is the entirety of Thomas's branch line. So I said I'd do the road. Let's do that real quick. So the road starts here at the service station, goes across, goes through the tunnel, comes back around to where Elizabeth is, goes down and back up, and there's Butch again. So this area here with the two mountain overpasses is meant to represent the mountain road where in Horror Lorry, you know, Toby's going down that one line and a lorry falls off the cliff. That's kind of what this is meant to be, even though I think that was on Toby's line, but whatever. And then it just dead ends down there. So yeah, that's the road and all of Thomas's branch line. So let's head back to Knapford. Next we'll cover Duck's branch line since I'm already over here. So from Knapford, if you head back, there's a couple switches for Timoth sheds. There's City of Churro and some milk tankers and water and coal, water tanker, and a carriage shed. So right there, that is Lower Tidmouth, and there's Donald and Douglas pulling the breakdown train. So, and immediately after Lower Tidmouth is Timoth Halt, which I guess would be the start of Duck's branch line. There's a little sign that just says Timoth Station there. And there is Mrs. Kindly's daughter's good luck package. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. It's just Thomas. That's a Tommy buffer on top of a breakdown train, like flatbed. Old Slow Coach and Percy back there. There's the Timoth ticket booth. And there's the fire station, sort of on the beach. And that little bit of road there, that just connects to where Bulgy is. And that's meant to be Bulgy's bridge, even though I have not once had a very good Bulgy's bridge, which is a bit unfortunate, but I did throw down some eggs next to Bulgy, just to torment him a little bit. So yeah, Duck's branch line is this area here. If you go along this Donald's line, go past a building, and there is Callan Station, which is the station where Oliver pulled Scruffy apart. So there's New Style Scruffy and Oliver, who's just pulling a special coach. That line goes around, goes up onto the cliff where Diesel is pulling some fuel tankers, goes across the bridge, goes across the lighthouse bridge where Ryan is, and then goes up into the pirate ship onto Bulgy's bridge, and then into the Timoth covered tunnel. But we'll come back to there. So if you go along Percy's line, back at the fire station, go past the Hall-Charles barrel loader. There's Arthur with the aquarium cars at the aquarium and Sodor fish food factory thing. I don't know. Goes under the bridge and then go up onto this mountain coast cliff thing, and that just brings you back down into the pirate ship thing. There's Bulstrode, probably beached on Timoth Beach. So yeah, back there, that line just goes underneath the hopper for the Arlesdale Railway. We'll come back to that. But then that other line goes across the crossing and into a shed. And that could be a number of things. That could be Arthur's shed, that could be Oliver and Toad's shed, or something else, I don't know. But yeah, so that's the end of Duck's branch line. Kind of a mess, but whatever. It's okay. So yeah, let's talk about the Arlesdale Railway real quick. So there's Rex at the barrel loader, and he's just on a little loop. That goes through the Pirate Cove Tunnel. Step very carefully. So then there's Bert with some coaches on the crossing. And that crossing, or that switch goes up to where Mike is. And then that goes over the Farquhar quarry down to where Frank is. next to like some rocks and stuff. And then that goes into a part of the layout, which I will have to explain later, because I will sound insane otherwise. So yeah. Let's just talk about the bridge. So back at the timber covered tunnel, there's Knapford, just goes down into Knapford Sheds. And there's early engineers Gordon, who fell off. I just thought that was funny. I just put him there. So that line back there goes into Knapford Harbor, which is nothing crazy. It's just like 2 tracks. There's Henry pulling the flying kipper. There's the gantry crane and some log cars. There is no logging area anywhere on this layout, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's okay. So there's Henry, and his line just connects back up to where Douglas is. So I think that's it for Knapford. Let's talk about the loop line. So the loop line is something that was retconned out of the books, but I kind of had to build it because the layout wouldn't work without it. So yeah. So at the old Iron Bay Bridge, there's a switch back there for Logan, where he's pulling Hector. Goes into the coaling plant, which connects up to the shed. Goes underneath the bridge, and then you get brought into Crosby, where we have another like coaling plant thing. There's Oliver with 3 Freds and some coal trucks. There's a hopper, and then there's a shed for Bear and Diesel 199. And those just all come out of this one single 3-way switch. So, keep coming back, there's another switch. And there's Duck at the barber shop with the Crosby Station cargo truck. It looks like he's just had his close shave. But if you keep going along this line, and you enter Henry's Forest, there's Wilbert. And then there is Mr. Jolly's Chocolate Factory, and there's Chocolate Rickety there in the siding. And this is meant to be like, I guess, Kronk or Kildane. I know it's supposed to be like over there, but I just had to put it here. It fills up space, and I mean, none of these locations really matter. But yeah, so there's Mr. Jolly's Chocolate Factory. The loop line just does that, and then it goes into Ellsbridge, and goes underneath, and then here you take a left, and there's the field where James had his accident, in the cow field. Goes underneath that road bridge, past Timoth Station, and then back into Timoth. So yeah, that's the loop line. Yeah. Let's talk about Edwards branch line next. So Edwards branch line starts right after the crossing, and you enter the Wellsworth scrapyard. There is Reg on his little bit of track. I know it's not the silver pieces of track, but if you look in the show, they're no different from the regular rails, so I don't really care. Yeah, so there's Reg. There's the honey farm, which I kind of put next to Trevor, and James Goes Buzz Buzz building, just because it's, it's like the orchard with the beehives and stuff. So then after the Wellsworth scrapyard, you enter Sudbury. There is another Edward pulling 3 milk tankers, and some scrap cars. And the line on the left is actually a siding, which, you know, is right next to the Suddery signal house, which could mean that it's the siding where Percy crashed in after he ran away. That episode actually like makes sense in terms of my layout. Like it could actually happen. It's kind of funny, just how it worked out. But yeah, that siding just starts there. If you go along Edward's line, it goes through the Suddery swing bridge, which does actually say Suddery on it. I don't think you can tell on that camera though. It's very faint. But then, after that, you enter Brendam Docks. And I quite like how this turned out. That is an Ertl shed back there that I got for Christmas. And there's Lorry 3 next to the... I mean, I think that's the line where Percy took the plunge in. There's the Chinese dragon. There's the Brendam like fishing dock. And then we have Grey Cranky and Deluxe Cranky. If you know what Grey Cranky is, that is meant to kind of represent Big Mickey, I guess. I don't know. I thought it was kind of clever. There's the Sodor Bay tugboat pulling the Sodor Bay barge. We have the little thing here for the Diesel. There's Bill and Ben tormenting poor Boko. And Salty with some cargo cars. Beyond these 4 tracks here, well, and also this one technically, you enter the Sodor China clay pits, which are massive. I was not expecting it to be this big. I got this for Christmas as well. It is huge. But yeah, so no matter which track you come on, any of these 5, you'll end up like coming back, which is kind of cool. Oh, and also something else that I want to point out: the other side of that Brendam Docks building is like a mountain, which works out perfectly for the quarry. So yeah, let's just talk about. We'll just go track number 1 there. Goes past the oil derrick, where the derrick is. It goes up a steep incline, goes through that little tunnel, comes down through the second level of the Gold Mine Mountain Tunnel, goes across the green Sodor Bay Bridge. Let's go ahead and cover this whole thing real quick. So that goes through the Brendam Warehouse, across 2 Sodor Bay bridges, through the Suddery Swing Bridge, across the Suspension Bridge, goes through the Mountain Tunnel, which I'm using as Gordon's Hill, goes across some more risers. There's James pulling 3 Knapford Express coaches, goes across the drawbridge, or lifting bridge, goes across the old style suspension bridge, and then finally goes back into Vickerstown. It's like the longest bridge I've ever made. This thing is so long. Okay, so yeah, that's check number 1 and check number 5. They are just, they're connected. So check number 2, the line that Derek is on, goes through, there's a switch. You take a right, you can actually see what we're doing. Goes across a crossing, through another crossing, and then goes behind, and then just connects back up to there. So check number 2 loops back on itself. And then number 3 goes up the Gold Mine Mountain, comes back down, curves around, goes across the crossings again, goes through the bottom level of the mountain tunnel, and there's a switch, and then it just goes back into track number 4. But that switch goes through the coal plant crane, past the dyno, whatever it's called, and then goes up the hill to where I don't know, is that Bill or Ben? I can't read. And he's just got some cars, and there's the other one there on top of the Gold Mine Mountain So yeah, that's the Sodor China clay pits and Edwards branch line. This is a long video. I just realized I've been talking for almost 30 minutes. Okay, so what next? I guess we can cover the Peel Goddard branch next. That'll be fun. So here at the Marion Stepman box, if you take a left, remember what I said about Percy runs away? If you take a left of that signal box, you go past the Kildane Dairy sign, which I just put on top of the ice cream factory. So that was kind of funny. If you take a left there, go through the tunnel, you arrive back at Wellsworth, and you can get switched onto that same line over there. But if you take it right, you go underneath the bridge. There's the Sodor Railway repair at the paint factory, back to Mr. Charlie's chocolate factory. So that's kind of cool. It's like, I kind of worked that weird David Mitten line into my layout. It's kind of weird. But yeah, so then here, take it right there, go across the narrow gauge crossing. There you go underneath the lift bridge into Abbey. There's the Abbey repair shop. There is Stephanie pulling some coaches and Rusty. I think that's meant to be the haunted silo from that one episode with Percy. It's like the one that like collapses or whatever. Whoops. And then there's another, there's the Hatch Street crossing. And you go down through like a valley, and there's Toby talking with Bertram at his mine, which I will have to explain later. So then there's a three-way switch. If you take the left two tracks, you actually enter the ironworks / smelting yard. So there's Arian Burt. And you have to go through the rumbling bridge. There's Arian Burt. There's the power generator, the smelting yard, and the Steamworks crane. Steamworks crane actually works perfectly because it's got like the claw arm. So yeah, they're about to melt new style of Stepney in their giant furnace. So yeah, that's kind of cool. But yeah, they just dead end in those two tracks there. If you take a right at Toby's line, go past a house, go underneath the viaduct into Kirkmachen, I think. I think that's what it's called. If you don't know what Kirkmachen is, I don't blame you, but it is the transfer station for the Coldy Fell. So there's Coldy pushing Catherine, and if you take the right track, you go up into the Rumbling Race Mountain, which I'm using for Coldy Fell. I've seen a couple of other people do this. It just snakes around. There's New Style Coldy pushing an empty car, and then it just comes back down, goes through a tunnel, around the bend, back to the station. I wanted to do a little bit more with it, but it's very limiting. I wanted to get like the Dustin Comes In First set pieces, because it's like Snowy Mountains stuff. But it's really expensive, and I just, they're not very cool pieces. It's literally just a decorated hill. So I didn't really want to spend money on it. And it's also not supposed to be a loop. It's supposed to just be like an up and down thing, but you can't really put a station in the mountain. It just doesn't work like that. So I just had to come back down. And then, so back on the standard gauge line, continue past Kirkmachen, you just go into Vicarstown, which isn't really accurate, but I mean, it was so close, I just figured I should connect them. So yeah, that's the Peel Goddard branch. I think that's it for standard gauge stuff, besides one area. The rest is all narrow gauge. So let's talk about that. So here at Crovan's Gate, there's Peter Sam pulling Ada Jane and Mabel at the station with Henry. We go along his line, goes past the works, goes underneath the bridge, and then you enter a small yard. There's Glennock, or Glennock. Take a right, there is Sir Handel and George in a shed. There's a water tower. But if you take a left, poor Peter Sam has had his accident at the incline. Very sad, and he looks, he's under there. He's just been buried. But there's a watermill. Take another left, go through a tunnel. Maybe that's the tunnel where Peter Sam's funnel got knocked off, or where Duncan had his rock and roll thing. Go up onto the viaduct. There is Rheneas and Scarloe pulling their coaches. Go across the Rumbling Bridge, which is on the map, by the way. I have no idea what episode it's referring to, but there is a part on the map where it says like Rumbling Bridge right there. And it's narrow gauge, it's weird. But yeah, so come back down through the Quarry Mine Tunnel, and then you enter Bertram's Mine, or / Boulder Mountain Quarry. So yeah, it comes through here, goes through the Haunted Mine Tunnel, and there's Rust with the breakdown train, or his sighting inspection kit, or whatever it's called. If you come back this way though, there's Boulder Mountain with Thumper, and there's Bertram in the Echo Tunnel. So these two lines here, they go underneath, and then they connect up to where Frank is, who is on the Arlesdale Railway. So I'm going to try to explain my reasoning for doing this. So basically, Arlesdale Railway was built on the old Mid-Sodor track, right? In like the RWS can or whatever. But Bertram is believed to be a Mid-Sodor engine. Therefore, the Arlesdale Railway should connect up to where Bertram once was. So that's my explanation for it. I know that it's supposed to be like on Toby's line, but I don't like the idea of Toby's line being on Sodor. So, yeah, whatever. I just threw Bertram here. And, I mean, if you don't like what I did, it's a wooden railway layout. Just ignore it. But that's my reasoning for it. You can just say that, like, the Arlesdale ends in that tunnel, and so does the narrow gauge. It just doesn't go beyond that. Just imagine that that's like a mine that just goes on forever in both directions. So, yeah, there you go. Oh, man. I'm so tired and out of breath. Okay, we're almost done though. So there's Rusty. Keep coming down. This is kind of meant to be like the Boulder, like the yard at the base of Boulder Mountain. Like this is where like he exploded the sheds and like they burst into flames. There's the small hill that Boulder is eventually moved to. And then it goes through underneath the bridge. There's Mighty Mac with the coach. Just throw him down there. And then that brings you back into Crovan's Gate. There's the little derrick thing. And then there's Duke, Scarloe, and Rheneas in the sheds. There's a small yard. And then that just goes up to where Peter Sam is. Oh man, okay. So that is most of the layout. Just have one area left, and it's right here. So there's my foot. Go across this line where Peter Sam is, over the Marin Archstone Bridge, and go across this way at the switch where Gordon is. These two tracks bring you into the wharf. So there is Colin at the wharf, and there's James with the gold prospecting cars, and Duncan with some dinosaur fossils. There's Madge, and there's just a couple of cranes there, a dock, and a boat, and a little shipping container thing. Yeah, and then, well, actually, I lied. There is one more little thing. Come across your Gordon's line, go through Rolf's Castle, and into the cement works where Fergus is. And then right next to that is the road, which I also forgot to cover. But it starts here at the hospital. There's the cement lorry, again at the cement works. Goes past the airport. There's Harold, Jeremy's hangar, and Jeremy. Let's fix that. That goes underneath the suspension bridge into the scrapyard. That's a scrap lorry, and then that just dead ends at the recycling center. Okay, finally, we're done. We're done. That's the whole layout. Oh man, I am so out of breath. This layout took me so long to make, but I think it was well worth it. Well, thank you for watching and sitting through my stories. I don't even know how many of you are still watching at this point after I've talked for over 40 minutes plus, like, you know, the extra 10 minutes that I'm gonna have at the start of this video. Oh man, this was fun. This was fun to build, but never again. I'm not doing this again. Not unless I move to a new house and I have like a football field where I can build all this stuff in. But yeah, that's the layout. Thank you so much for such an amazing first year. It really means a lot to me. I didn't think I would get this far so quickly. It's kind of nice. I don't know, really means a lot to know that so many people, you know, like my stuff that I do. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else I could say, I guess, except for thank you for watching. See you in 2024. I've got to clean up this layout now. Yay for me. Alright. Hold on, let me get one more shot here. Just to show you how cool this layout is. I'll just get one with like eye level, and it's just stuff wherever you look. Thank you very much for watching for like the 5th time. It really does mean a lot. See you all in 2024.